She was born with a smile that could calm a storm, but storms never spared her. Her name was Aisosa, a name that meant God's blessing, in a house where she was treated like a curse. In the village of Uzebu, they saw her laughter, her kindness, her beauty, but they didn't see her sweeping floors while others danced. They didn't hear the harsh words behind closed doors. Every day, she carried burdens too heavy for a child, but the winds were shifting, because the girl they all overlooked was about to be seen by the gods. In the heart of the ancient kingdom of Uzebu, where bronze glistened in the market sun and the wind carried stories on the backs of birds, lived a girl named Aisosa. She was only 17, yet her beauty was like early morning light, soft-hearted, steady, and pure. Her eyes sparkled like the Osun River at dawn, and her laughter, when it came, felt like the first rain after the dry season. The villagers loved her. Even strangers blessed her as she passed. But love at home was a treasure she did not possess. After the death of her mother, Aisosa became the burden of her father's new wife, Iyere, a woman whose heart had long dried like cracked earth under the harmattan. Iyere wore smiles only in public, but behind the clay walls of their home, she turned cruelty into daily ritual. She would starve Aisosa while lying to her husband that the girl had eaten. She forced her to wake before the cocks crowed and sent her daily into the dreaded Azin forest to fetch firewood. Iye knew the tales. Everyone in Uzebu did. No soul must enter the Azin forest when the sun sets. The elders always warned. That is the hour of the Azin, the witches who gather in their sacred place to dance, to whisper, to judge. But Iye did not fear the curse. She had hatred to feed. And yet, Aisosa remained joyful. She carried her burdens with grace, humming the tune a mother once sang each time she sat beneath the old Iroko tree. That melody, she believed, kept her mother's spirit alive in her heart, and perhaps, in the wind, her joy enraged Iye even more. How dare she still smile? The woman would mutter. How dare she be loved while my own daughter Arezi is passed by unnoticed? I will deal with her, she said to herself. One day, with envy boiling in her bones, Ayere waited until the sun kissed the horizon and its gold began to fade. Then she called Aisosa. Drop your basket, she ordered. Go fetch firewood from the Azin. Aisosa hesitated. But mother, the sun, did you hear me? Iyere snapped. Or will you disobey me under this roof? And so, innocent and obedient, Aisosa took a small knife and stepped into the forest as darkness stirred. As she walked, the light grew thin, shadows stretched like long arms, trees bent in unnatural silence. The deeper she went, the colder it became. Then came the whispers, first faint, then surrounding. Leaves rustled without wind. A soft humming began, as if the trees themselves had voices. Aisosa's steps slowed, her heart pounded. The air thickened like smoke. Something, no, many things moved beyond her vision. She turned back, but the path she had come through was gone. Fear overtook her. Her legs gave way. She fell to her knees, locked her face between her arms, and cried, "Oh!" And then she sang. It came not from her lips, but her soul. Her mother's song, woven with pain, love, and faith, floated into the trees. The forest stopped. From the shadows, the Azin emerged, tall, robed in leaves and mist, with eyes like glowing embers. They gathered, not to devour, but to listen. The trees bowed. The wind was still. Even the night paused in reverence. One of the witches whispered, "She sings like the river spirits." Another said, "No mortal voice holds such harmony." Their leader, Iyemwen, stepped forth. "This is no ordinary girl. This is a vessel." It was the sacred hour of offering, and the witches had just made sacrifice to the unseen god. Yet here, unbidden, came a voice so divine, they believed it was the gods themselves singing through her. "This is the one," Iyemwen declared. "We must bless her." They formed a circle and conjured a sacred bracelet, ivy made of woven light, river stone, and wind-sung thread. As they placed it on Aisosa's wrist, a tear stopped. Peace washed over her. "Go, child of song," Iyemwen said. "With this, you shall never be hidden again. Favor will chase you as the moon chases night." And just like mist at dawn, they vanished. Aisosa returned home with firewood and a smile. Iye froze. How? No one had ever returned from Azen after dusk. "She must be one of them," she whispered to herself. "A witch!" But the girl said nothing. She went about her chores and sang more sweetly than ever. Days later, word spread through Uzebu. The prince had come of age and would choose a bride at the great palace festival. Every maiden was to appear, dressed in their finest, to dance and smile before the royal eyes. Iye prepared Aris with beads and oil, dressing her like a future queen. Aisosa. She was left behind with a mountain of chores and a tattered wrapper. "You," Iye spat, "you'll embarrass us with your skinny bones." But fate, when it moves, ignores the plans of the wicked. Aisosa finished her work, washed herself quickly, and walked barefoot to the festival. She had no dream of being chosen. She only came to watch. But as she stood in the corner, her ivy bracelet caught the sunlight, and the flash struck the eyes of the prince. "Who is that?" he asked. Servants were sent. She was brought forward, bathed, adorned, transformed. And when she stepped into the courtyard, Uzebu fell silent. The king leaned forward. The prince's eyes widened. The girls who danced in fine clothes faded into shadows. "This," the king whispered, "is the one." The prince approached, took Aisosa's hand, and raised it. "You've come from the forest of witches, yet you carry no curse, only light." The crowd roared. That day, Aisosa became the queen of Uzebu, not because of riches nor lineage, but because the gods had touched her spirit. As for Iyere, some say her tongue dried, others say she went mad with jealousy. No one really knows. For once Aisosa rose, she never looked back. She ruled with wisdom, grace, and song. And on quiet evenings, under the same old Iroko tree, she still sang her mother's tune. And the wind, if you listened closely, always sang back. But what truly happens to Iyere? Did Aisosa bring her to the palace? Or did she run away and never return? Subscribe and put on your notifications so you do not miss the final part of this story.